The boxing world didn't blink. It choked. Because the words "it's over" started racing across timelines like someone pulled the fire alarm mid-fight. 1 minute the bout was locked in, promo posters ready, fans arguing about scorecards. That didn't exist yet, and the next minute whispers of leaked steroid proof turned into a full-blown online explosion. No press conference, no dramatic announcement. Just screenshots, alleged documents, and timelines screaming like they'd uncovered a crime thriller nobody asked for. If this feels unreal, that's because it is, and that's exactly why nobody can look away. Shakur Stevenson's name went from elite technician to trending topic faster than a dropped guard in the 12th round. The internet doesn't wait for commissions, investigations, or context. It grabs a rumor and sprints with it like it stole something. Fans panicked, critics celebrated like it was Christmas morning. And boxing Twitter turned into a courtroom where everyone was the judge, jury, and loudest prosecutor. This makes reality TV look amateur because boxing scandals hit different when legacies are on the line. It felt like a secret slipped out through a cracked door. Messy, uncontrolled, and impossible to put back. Was it real? Was it fake? Or was it perfectly timed chaos? Nobody knew, but everyone had an opinion. And suddenly, the fight wasn't just canceled on paper. It was canceled in the court of public opinion. And once that happens, there's no bell to save you. The moment the words "fight canceled" started circulating, boxing fans didn't ask questions. They grabbed popcorn. This wasn't a slow burn rumor. It was an overnight wildfire, the kind that spreads before anyone checks the weather. Shakur Stevenson's name was suddenly stapled to the phrase "steroid-proof leak," and the internet reacted like it just discovered a secret tunnel under the ring. No official statement, no verified documents, just alleged screenshots and whispers dressed up as certainty. And in the boxing world, perception punches harder than facts ever do. Context matters here. Because Shakur Stevenson isn't just another name on a fight poster. It's been marketed as precision, discipline, and control. The technician who wins. Rounds like a chess grandmaster wins games. Fans praise his IQ. Critics complain about his excitement level. But nobody seriously questioned his preparation. That's why this alleged leak hit like a sucker punch. When a fighter known for clean technique gets dragged into enhancement rumors, it flips the script instantly. The narrative doesn't ask permission, it just changes costumes. The so-called leak didn't arrive with flashing lights and verification stamps. It slithered into timelines quietly, passed from account to account like contraband. Blurry screenshots, cropped messages, half-explained claims, and captions screaming certainty without context. That's the internet's favorite recipe. You don't need proof when outrage does the heavy lifting. People didn't pause to ask where it came from. They asked who to blame. Within minutes, speculation exploded. Some fans claimed the documents looked legit. Others laughed at how flimsy they appeared. And a loud group didn't care either way. For them, the damage was already done. Once the word steroids touches a boxer's name, it doesn't matter how many disclaimers follow. The stain spreads faster than any correction ever could. Boxing history taught fans one brutal lesson. Where there's smoke, the internet assumes fire. The timing added fuel to the chaos. The fight had momentum, promotion, buzz, and debates heating up about strategy and matchups. Canceling it suddenly felt suspicious, even if the reasons weren't confirmed. People love coincidence until it disrupts entertainment. Then coincidence becomes conspiracy. Fans connected dots that may not have existed, but once a narrative starts sprinting, logic struggles to keep up. Critics wasted no time sharpening knives. They framed the alleged leak as confirmation of long-held suspicions about elite athletes and performance culture. To them, this wasn't shocking, it was expected. The tone wasn't curiosity, it was smug satisfaction. Social media has a special appetite for downfalls, especially when someone's been praised too consistently. Elevation always comes with people waiting underneath. Supporters fired back just as aggressively, pointing out the lack of verified sources and official confirmation. They argued this was character assassination fueled by clout and timing. For them, the idea that a career could be threatened by unverified screenshots was absurd. They reminded everyone that boxing commissions don't make decisions based on Twitter threads. Unfortunately, the internet doesn't wait for commissions. It declares verdicts early. The alleged cancellation itself became part of the confusion. Some accounts claimed the fight was off entirely. Others said it was under review, and a few insisted nothing had been decided at all. That uncertainty didn't calm anyone down. It intensified the drama. Ambiguity is gasoline in digital spaces. The less clear the facts, the louder the takes get. Boxing Twitter transformed into a virtual courtroom overnight. Everyone suddenly became an expert on drug testing protocols, sanctioning bodies, and timelines. People who had never read a commission rulebook confidently explained how these things always go. Accuracy didn't matter, confidence did. The loudest voices drowned out nuance, like a crowd booing a referee's decision. What made the moment particularly explosive was how quickly legacy entered the conversation. This wasn't just about one fight, it was about what this allegation could mean for Shakur Stevenson's entire career arc. People questioned past performances, rewatched old fights with new suspicion, and rewrote history in real time. The internet's favorite trick. One rumor has the power to retroactively poison years of work. Memories of past boxing scandals hovered over the discussion like ghosts. Fans referenced infamous cases, drawing parallels whether they fit or not. Boxing has a complicated relationship with trust, and every new allegation reopens old wounds. The sport's history made people cynical by default. Even those who wanted to give Shakur the benefit of the doubt struggled against that. Backdrop. Silence from official sources only deepened the tension. No immediate clarification meant the internet filled the gap with imagination. People interpreted the quiet as confirmation, denial, strategy, or chaos depending on their bias. Silence never stays neutral online. It always gets translated into whatever narrative feels most exciting. Promoters and organizations became targets too. Fans accused them of hiding information, mishandling situations, or prioritizing money over integrity. Others defended them, arguing investigations take time and social media isn't a governing body. That debate didn't resolve anything, but it kept the story alive. Blame loves company. The most uncomfortable part was how quickly the phrase, "it's over," became accepted language. Careers don't end on Twitter, but reputations can fracture there instantly. The internet treats allegations like conclusions, especially when they fit a dramatic storyline. Nuance doesn't trend as well as doom. Declaring the fight dead felt satisfying to people who crave finality. Through all of this, one question kept floating unanswered. Was any of this verified? The honest answer remained unclear, but that didn't slow the outrage machine. Boxing fans have been trained by years of scandal to expect disappointment. That conditioning made skepticism optional. People reacted first and asked later. By the end of this phase, the fight itself almost felt secondary. The alleged leak had hijacked the narrative completely. Shocker, Stevenson wasn't being discussed as a fighter preparing for a bout anymore. He was being debated as a symbol of everything people distrust about modern sports. Fair or not, that shift happened fast. The tension didn't resolve, it hardened. Lines were drawn, opinions calcified, and the story gained momentum independent of facts. Whatever the truth behind the alleged leak, the damage to public perception, it was already underway. And everyone watching knew this was just the opening act. Because once allegations enter the ring, they don't leave quietly. Once the allegation took its first lap around the internet, it didn't jog, it sprinted, because controversy runs faster when everyone thinks they're breaking news. The alleged leak stopped being a rumor and started acting like a headline, even though nobody could agree on what was actually confirmed. That didn't matter. Boxing Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube commentary channels went into overdrive, turning speculation into spectacle like they were paid by the decibel. Every refresh brought a hotter take. Every clip added another layer of disbelief. And suddenly, the story felt bigger than the fight itself. Celebrity reactions slid in sideways. Because nothing feeds a scandal like vague posts that pretend to be neutral. Fighters, trainers, and influencers dropped cryptic captions about clean sport, integrity, and truth coming out, without naming anyone, but everyone knew exactly who they were hinting at. Fans treated these posts like tea leaves, decoding emojis as if they were sworn testimony. One flexing arm meant guilt to some, discipline to others. Ambiguity became a weapon, and everyone swung it freely. Memes arrived right on schedule, because the internet can't process shock without humor. Some compared the situation to a heist movie where the twist gets revealed halfway through. Others joked that the fight didn't get canceled, it got tested. Screenshots were edited, captions exaggerated, and suddenly the allegation was wrapped in punchlines that made it easier to share and harder to challenge. Laughter blurred the line between joke and judgment. The outrage grew louder when fans started arguing about double standards. Supporters pointed out how quickly accusations stick to certain fighters, while others get endless benefit of the doubt. Critics countered that elite athletes should expect scrutiny at the highest level. The debate wasn't really about this specific case anymore. It was about fairness, bias, and boxing's long history of selective accountability. Every argument reopened old scars. Commentary channels piled on, dissecting the alleged documents, frame by frame, like they were analyzing Zapruder footage. Voices slowed down, arrows appeared on screenshots, and speculation was delivered with the confidence of verified facts. Some creators emphasized caution, reminding viewers that leaks aren't verdicts. Others leaned into drama because drama pays better. Algorithms don't reward patience, they reward panic. The fight's supposed cancellation took on a life of its own. Some outlets claimed it was officially off, others insisted it was postponed, and a few quietly admitted there was no confirmation at all. That inconsistency didn't slow the outrage, it fueled it. Confusion became content. The less clear the status, the more people argued, and the more the story dominated, feeds boxing insiders started weighing in with technical language that sounded authoritative enough to sway opinions. Terms like testing windows, protocols, and commissions were thrown around casually, even when explanations contradicted each other. Fans clung to whichever explanation supported their bias. Expertise became performative, not factual. Confidence drowned out caution. Pop culture comparisons went wild, because exaggeration is how the internet makes sense of chaos. People compared this situation to infamous sports scandals, dramatic implosions, and career-altering moments from other eras. Some claimed this felt like the beginning of the end. Others mocked that idea as premature hysteria. Hyperbole ruled the timeline, because measured takes don't go viral. The loudest reactions came from those who already had opinions about Shakur Stevenson. Critics reframed old fights, saying the alleged leak explained everything. Supporters fired back, pointing out how absurd it was to rewrite history based on unverified claims. The past became a battleground, with highlights and lowlights repurposed to support whichever narrative people preferred. Revisionism moved faster than reality. What made this stage particularly explosive was how quickly morality entered the conversation. This stopped being about a single fight and turned into a referendum on ethics in boxing. Fans argued about whether the sport could ever truly be clean, whether accusations should be treated as truths, and whether public opinion should carry any weight at all. Everyone had an answer, and none of them agreed. The silence from official channels became unbearable. For some, people demanded statements, investigations, timelines, anything to anchor the chaos. When nothing arrived immediately, frustration boiled over into accusations of cover-ups and incompetence. The internet hates waiting almost as much as it loves drama. Patience feels like betrayal when entertainment is on pause. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson's name stayed glued to trending lists like it had a reservation. Neutral observers who didn't follow boxing suddenly had opinions formed entirely from memes and headlines. That's how reputations get shaped outside their own communities. Once a story breaks containment, context gets left behind. The most ironic part was how many people claimed they just wanted the truth while actively spreading unverified information. Everyone insisted they were on the side of fairness, even as they fueled speculation with every share. Outrage disguised itself as concern, and concern disguised itself as justice. The cycle fed itself perfectly, as hours turned into days. Anticipation replaced shock. Fans weren't asking what happened anymore. They were asking what would happen next. Would there be a denial, a confirmation, a delay, a full collapse? Each possibility carried its own fantasy of chaos. The story evolved from allegation to countdown. Even boxing purists, who usually dismiss social media drama, found themselves pulled in. They argued about the sport's image, its vulnerability to rumor, and how quickly trust erodes in the digital age. The scandal became a mirror reflecting boxing's fragility. One leak, real or not, exposed how thin the line between hype and havoc really is. By the end of this phase, the internet wasn't debating facts anymore. It was debating futures. Careers, legacies, and credibility were all on the table, shaped by speculation and amplified by noise. The alleged leak had already done what it needed to do. It destabilized certainty. The tension didn't break, it condensed. People stopped shouting and started watching closely, waiting for consequences to materialize. The fight might have been canceled, postponed, or misunderstood, but the narrative damage was already in motion, and everyone knew the next chapter wouldn't be quieter. It would be heavier. When the noise finally dipped below a roar, the consequences started to surface in ways that didn't need hashtags or memes to feel heavy. Allegations don't have to be proven to change the temperature of a room. And this one turned the boxing ecosystem cold almost overnight. Promoters recalculated, opponents hesitated, and fans who once argued about styles suddenly debated credibility. The fight wasn't just paused in schedules, it was frozen in trust. And trust, once cracked, doesn't reseal with a tweet. Shakur Stevenson's public image entered a strange limbo where certainty evaporated. To some, the allegations were nothing more than digital smoke, an unverified mess amplified by clout chasers and bored timelines. To others, the mere existence of the rumor was enough to shift perception. That's the brutal math of modern sports culture. Doubt carries the same weight as proof for a long time. In this space, innocence doesn't trend as fast as suspicion. The immediate aftermath looked quiet on the surface, but behind the scenes it felt anything but. Conversations changed tone. Questions that used to be about matchups became about timelines and testing windows. Even supporters found themselves prefacing praise with qualifiers, as if bracing for pushback. Language softened, confidence hedged. When a narrative goes toxic, even allies walk carefully. Opponents and potential opponents didn't need to say much to say everything. Silence can be strategic, and in boxing, it often is. Nobody wants to attach themselves to uncertainty when money, reputation, and sanctioning are on the line. Risk assessment doesn't happen publicly. It happens in calls that don't get leaked. The internet sees the headlines, not the hesitation. For critics, this phase felt like validation. They framed the chaos as proof that boxing's shiny surfaces hide messy truths. They argued that the sport's history taught fans to be skeptical first and charitable later. In their eyes, the scandal wasn't shocking. It was inevitable. Cynicism felt earned, and they wore it proudly. Supporters pushed back by pointing out how quickly the internet jumps from allegation to obituary. They emphasize that investigations, if any, take time and that leaks are not verdicts. They reminded everyone that boxing has governing bodies for a reason, even if they don't move at social media speed. But patience is a hard sell when outrage offers instant gratification. The broader impact rippled outward, touching the sport itself. Fans debated whether boxing could survive the constant cycle of rumor and reaction. Some worried that unverified claims could derail fights before officials even speak. Others argued that transparency, even messy transparency, is necessary to clean house. The sport's fragility became part of the conversation, exposed by how easily one story hijacked an entire calendar. Media narratives began to split into lanes. One lane treated the situation cautiously, emphasizing alleged and unconfirmed like warning labels. Another lane leaned into spectacle, using dramatic language that suggested finality without saying it outright. Both lanes shaped perception differently, but the louder one traveled faster. Volume often beats accuracy online. The cancellation itself, whether official, temporary, or misunderstood, became symbolic. It represented how quickly momentum can be derailed in the digital age. Fans don't wait for press releases anymore. They declare outcomes in comment sections. The bell doesn't ring, the timeline does. And once a fight is declared dead in public opinion, reviving it takes more than paperwork. Legacy conversations turned especially uncomfortable. People revisited past performances with new lenses, not because evidence changed, but because doubt reframed memory. Highlights were reinterpreted, decisions reconsidered, praise recalculated. That's the quiet damage of allegations. They rewrite history without footnotes. Even if clarity arrives later, the rewrite lingers. The personal toll, often ignored, hovered beneath the surface. Being at the center of a viral accusation means living inside a feedback loop you don't control. Every search result echoes the same question. Every update or lack of one becomes a headline. The pressure isn't just professional, it's psychological. Silence becomes a shield, but shields don't stop whispers. Institutions faced their own scrutiny. Fans demanded faster responses, clearer protocols, and public accountability. When answers didn't arrive on schedule, frustration turned into suspicion. The internet doesn't differentiate between due process and delay. Waiting looks like hiding when patience runs out. Governance struggles under the weight of immediacy. As days passed, the story didn't disappear. It calcified, it became a reference point, a shorthand used in debates about fairness, bias, and the reliability of online information. Even neutral discussions about boxing ethics circled back to this moment. That's how scandals endure. Not as breaking news, but as context. What complicated everything was the absence of a clean ending. No definitive statement to punctuate the chaos, no single moment to close the file. Ambiguity stretched the life of the story. People filled the gap with expectations, theories, and predictions. Uncertainty became the cliffhanger that kept viewers engaged. The sports relationship with fans felt strained. Boxing relies on belief in outcomes, in preparation, in legitimacy. When belief wavers, enthusiasm follows. Some fans checked out, exhausted by the noise. Others leaned in harder, craving resolution. Polarization intensified, and middle ground thinned. Through it all, one truth became unavoidable. In the age of leaks and algorithms, reputations are vulnerable to velocity. How fast a story moves can matter more than how accurate it is. By the time facts catch up, opinions have already settled. Correction rarely outruns conclusion. As the conversation shifted from shock to consequence, the question wasn't whether this would matter, but how long it would matter. Would clarity arrive and reset the narrative? Or would ambiguity become the permanent frame? Boxing has seen both outcomes before. History offered no comfort, only precedent. And so the chapter closed without closure, leaving a sport, a fight, and a reputation suspended mid-air. The internet moved on to the next spark, but it didn't forget this one. It archived it, ready to be reopened with the next development. Because in modern boxing, the loudest bell isn't rung in an arena. It rings online, and once it sounds, the echo is hard to silence. Now, before you scroll off, acting like this didn't shake the entire boxing timeline. Let's be real for a second. You didn't sit through this breakdown because it was boring. You stayed because moments like this don't happen quietly. This wasn't just about one fight, one leak, or one rumor. This was about how fast a legacy can wobble when the internet smells blood. And whether you think this scandal is smoke, fire, or pure chaos marketing, one thing is undeniable. Boxing fans just watched a storyline implode in real time. So do what the algorithm understands best and smash that like button like it owes you money. Because likes tell the digital judges you want more unfiltered breakdowns when the fight game turns messy. Drop a comment and don't play it safe either. Do you believe this alleged leak really killed the fight, or did social media cancel it before officials ever could? Say it loud, because the comment section is where the real verdicts get argued. If you're tired of watered-down takes, fake outrage, and recycled headlines pretending to be news, make sure you subscribe right now. This is where boxing drama gets stripped down, examined, and exposed without sugarcoating the chaos. Scandals don't wait for press conferences, and neither do we. When leaks surface, narratives collapse, or careers hang in limbo, this is where it gets broken down first. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next implosion, because trust me, this story isn't done breathing yet. Someone will respond, something will surface, and the internet will lose its mind all over again. When that bell rings, you'll want to be here. Not catching up through half-truths and blurry screenshots. This is Punch Press, where boxing meets brutal honesty. And remember this clearly, in today's fight game, you don't always lose in the ring. Sometimes, the knockout happens online.